Hello and welcome to the National Spectrum Consortium Spotlight Series. I'm Sal D'Itri. I'm a National Spectrum Consortium Executive Committee member. The Spotlight Series are a series of 5-minute interviews that we're doing with NSC members. Today, I'm pleased to introduce Ken Stewart. He's the president and CEO of NUAIR, an FAA-designated UAS test site and innovation partner, helping accelerate the 5G and UAS economy. Ken, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Sal. Great to be here.
Before we dive into 5G, spectrum, unmanned systems, tell us about your day job at NUAIR and how you came to join the organization.
Sure. So, as I was working in the telecommunications world for quite some time, I was approached about doing this thing called UTM, unmanned traffic management. And I'm like, what is this? I'm not an aviator. I don't know what this is. But it really kind of mimicked shared spectrum, and which is why they approached me for it. So I was recruited for about a year, and I finally decided to join GE Ventures to create an unmanned traffic management platform. And that kind of led me here to NUAIR as part of that team at GE, working with NUAIR for over 5 years. When the opportunity came here and seeing all the assets that NUAIR had, I said, we can go there and make this a reality. And so that's really what brought me here.
So we talk about and read in the news about a robust drone economy, how that can dramatically accelerate U.S. commercial interests, national security, global leadership. How do spectrum and 5G help enable that growth?
Sure. So, the simple answer is spectrum is the oxygen of communications, right? We all need more spectrum. I think one of the challenges we have here is the need for high quality spectrum and networks that meet the rules and regulations of both the FCC and FAA. In telecommunications, we generally talk about 5 nines being adequate. Here, it's the safety case for the FAA is 10 to the negative 9th. So far more resilient networks are needed. 5G itself is not a case of if, but when. So we're currently testing various operations using 5G to kind of validate these test cases for the FAA and really think about, a dedicated band or bands for really autonomous or dedicated autonomous applications that meet the criteria for both the FAA and FCC.
Yeah, and just to hit on that a little bit more, how do you see flexibility and sort of mission purpose in spectrum? Does that go hand in hand with drone communications and sort of the flexible missions and the growth strategy that we see today?
Absolutely. There's really 2 kind of main points of communications for drones. One is command and control. How do you command and control the drone? Very small amounts of data can be done with various types of networks, but really need that kind of 10 to the negative 9th. Then there's the secondary piece, and that's really what are you operating? What are you actually performing with that drone? And there are really 2 primary cases for all drones, and that is delivery or data capture. And data capture is probably the biggest one when you think about inspections of highways, inspections of utility and other types of infrastructure. And in some of those cases, we're capturing a terabyte of data an hour. So if you think about using, kind of a consumer network for that, you're going to blow out your family plan in kind of the first 5 minutes if you're to use LTE or something along those lines. So it's really about application specific. And for example, public safety, you may have somebody's life hanging in the balance. You really want to get access to really the right kind of network if you need to, push that data back to a central operations center or something along those lines.
So you're talking about a number of new and innovative and mission critical use cases. How is NUAIR innovating and working with industry to advance national security and drone commercial growth? What are you all offering as being a partner in this endeavor?
Sure. So, as a designated test site, every day we're pioneering, pushing the boundaries of the art of the possible with UAS. And, we kind of operate like a digital foundry. For people to go and test with drones, having a designated UAS test site, FAA test site, really allows that entity to come here and test areas that would take them years to get to otherwise. We have special dispensation for executing certain types of advanced operations. And to execute those types of operations, you really need a lot of infrastructure, what I call a stack of technologies and capabilities. So for example, we have Part 107 pilots, we have designated airworthiness resources, we have SMS or safety management system people, but we also have a fully censored 50-mile corridor as well as our test site. So a bunch of capabilities here, and it really helps enable the full stack of that application or that operation to go from test site and proof of concept where they can expand to the commercial arena and actually start offering those services in a commercial environment.
You talked about being at the early stage of some of these new use cases, we're seeing, if you look at the numbers, we're seeing a lot of growth in research development and test dollars for drones within the Department of Defense. How is NUAIR equipped to help DoD and the federal market in support of this RDT&E mission growth?
Sure. So 5G is really critical to DoD and how they can consume and utilize 5G. And so some of those applications they're working on, for example, checking FOD on runways, asset inspection on airports, digital twins of aircraft, testing ILS systems with drones. All of those things are applicable and can all be done via 5G. And that's the thing that we're trying to prove out here is what is it that we've learned from the private sector that we can then go and apply to the DoD that they can then take advantage of those economies. It's really far more cost effective to utilize drones in many of these cases than it is human beings, and it's far safer in a lot of cases.
That's right. And so you all are a nonprofit. How would federal agencies or commercial enterprise, the Department of Defense, I always like to think of as the largest enterprise, the first enterprise, how would they work and engage with NUAIR?
So the first and easiest way to do is just go to nuair.org and click on Contact Us. But that's the easiest way to get engaged. But we work with other companies that already work with the DoD, companies like AX Enterprise. AFRL is literally right across the street from our organization. That's the AFRL that actually runs all the UAS on behalf of the Air Force. So there's Fort Drum just north of us. So we do a lot of work with those agencies, even subcontractors, supporting subcontractors through other channels. But really the easiest way is just go to the website, contact us, and we'll put together what a proposal would look like to help them engage and provide the access to the facility. And one of the things I would add about having a test site like this is that the ability to get on and actually test things with DoD and private sector really are facilitated because while we have security for the site, it isn't like a DoD or an Army base where you've really got to get access to the hours to be able to fly, as well as access to the environment.
Yeah, it sounds like a wonderful mix of your commercial environment there at Syracuse, as you mentioned, as well as having access to the AFRL site, the Griffin site, just a natural synergies there between the enterprise and DoD. Would love to spend some more time talking about that, but Ken, as always in these things, that's all the time that we have in the spotlight for today. Many thanks to Ken Stewart for joining us, and thanks to everyone for watching. Feel free to reach out to myself or Ken at the website there at nuair.org if you want to discuss anything further. Thank you very much. Thanks again for joining the NSC here in one of our hopefully innovative and insightful opportunities to engage our members through the Spotlight series. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sal.